Okay, so we're not also recording this video just in case you missed it or anybody joined late. You can feel free to join later on. I think there are a couple people looking to be admitted. I'm gonna go ahead and add them as well. And looks like we have about few participants right now. So I just want to get go ahead and get started. So basically, most of the people have this question if we can actually, do real estate investing, and most of the time you're actually asking if we need to get a loan or how do we actually do it. So basically what I wanted to show here is, it can actually be invested and you don't really have to have um, you know uh, you don't really have to take a loan for it. So I'll go ahead and I just wanted to give a little bit of my introduction over here. Most of the people ask me like, who are you, how are you able to, how do you have this knowledge, and what you have to offer. So one thing I wanted to kind of give this idea is, I've actually been doing real estate in kind of been realtor for about 5 years. Before that, I used to work for an investor for a couple of years, and that's how I gained most of my experience. Like most of the people actually write an exam, take some training online, and take some course and get their license. But I have been through a very aggressive journey where I used to work for a real estate investor, and he would make me do everything like negotiate offers, talk to the people, write offers, write contracts, go to the properties, analyze the properties, and do all that stuff, right? So during this period, what I actually used to do is, just keep working on my investment portfolio and keep learning from other investors. And now that I have been learning, I made a lot of money in real estate and I lost a lot of money. But the reason I lost a lot of money is because I was working with real estate agents who don't have who don't have real knowledge. All they have done is, they have written some exams and they have taken some courses and they have basically are doing real estate. So for an example, if there is a high school or it's a college graduate who have never developed a software program, and you're basically asking him to actually develop a software so that you can sell it to a client, right? I mean, he's just going to say, well, I basically studied my books and they didn't teach me how to write a software, right? So that's the problem. Like having a real knowledge was actually lacking in most of the real estate agents who were actually basically working with me. And they don't have, like, some of the real estate agents were too busy, they didn't have time to return calls, they were not proactive enough, they couldn't make offers, they were not quick on finding bids. Like for an example, if there is a hot property in the market that's like, at 70% market value, I have to jump on it and make a quick offer. They would actually take like 4 or 5 days, and by that time I would actually lose that deal. And they lacked patience to show the properties to me. They were too inexperienced, they didn't had proper knowledge to tell me, hey, this home has a problem, that home doesn't have a problem, you can buy this home. They cannot make any suggestions. They will stand on a side and then tell me, hey, Abdul, you want to buy a property, that's fine. I mean, sometimes they will even push me to buy a property that I don't want to buy. So I decided to become real estate agent myself and started, buying properties myself, and I just became, my own agent. So that's how I actually kind of became the real estate agent and started, making properties. So, well, the first step to actually invest in real estate, I wanted to put together this concept of putting together a pool of money. Okay, everybody put together a pool and create a fund. So you basically, what you do is you create a limited liability company. Let's say five people have $50,000 each. So you can create an LLC, you can create a bank account, you can have a lawyer write that LLC, like how this partnership is going to work. Like five different people are going to have equal partnership, and then you'll have a bank account with $250,000 into it, right? And you will set up an account in such a way that somebody needs money, they can't pull the money out, they need permission from everybody need to be there in order to receive, in order to withdraw the money. Because sometimes situation change, some person would actually need money, and what they will do is basically, hey, you know what, I want to take my 50,000 out. But then, you wanted to actually work with some people, like maybe five people wanted to invest $100,000 or five people wanted to invest $50,000. You all can put together and then do an investment. Also, I just wanted to disclose this. is I actually don't raise money from the people, and I don't invest in properties. So this is something is just like I'm providing the tips what I used to do. So I just want to make sure that you guys don't think that I'm trying to pull money from people and wanted to invest in real estate. That is something I don't do. If I buy real estate, I use my own money to do that. So this is something suggestions and tips. If you guys wanted to invest money, what you guys can do. So I just wanted to let you know that. So create a fund account where 3 to 10 people put $50,000 each or $100,000 each. If there are 10 people who put $50,000 each, then you'll have like $500,000 fund. Once that fund account is created on an LLC, you set up rules, you set up regulations, you set up partnership, how you want to do. You pay attorney $1,000. He will do all of that for you. One risk of this is, as I said, like some people sometimes want money out of the account, and you're probably trying to buy a deal of $500,000, and then one person have some emergency and he want to take all the money out, then that's a problem. And that is one risk of this thing. And also, you might not have all the people who wanted to pay $100,000 each. Maybe you have somebody who only have $25,000, so you have to go and find the person who have like at least $50,000 or $100,000 so that you can actually put together. I also have other methods which you can actually use if some of you don't have like $50,000, you have like $25,000 and less. I have some other methods as well that I'm going to share. So there are multiple different methods you can actually use to invest in real estate, right? The first method that I recommend people is buying a rental property. Okay, so rental property could be a single family home, duplex, triplex, fourplex. I am a big fan of multi-family homes. Like duplex, triplex, fourplex are like great investments because you buy a property which is 4 units, you rent it out to 4 different tenants, and you set up a lease, and you get a property manager to manage this property, pay the property manager fee. Property manager will find a tenant. They will do everything for you. They will collect the rent. They will verify the tenant's background. They will actually do, what you call is like credit check, credit run, make sure their job is active, their pay stubs and everything. They will, maintenance. If there is a water leakage or anything urgent, they will call a person who will actually come, a handyman who will come and fix it. So you can actually set up like complete automated system where you can put $500,000 and buy a rental property like a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Fourplex basically 4 units, and then have a property manager manage it. Every single month, you can have a CPA, or you can do yourself like a bookkeeping, or something like what you can do is you can basically um, have do a profit loss statement, right? So P&L, profit loss statement will look something like this. I mean, I have not put into significant details here. Um, so profit loss statement can be something like you got an income of $5,000, taxes are $500, insurance 150, maintenance 150, property manager fees $100, utilities $100. Then all this combined will probably come to about $1,000. So you subtract the $1,000 from $5,000, the profit is $4,000. If 4 people put $100,000 each, and they're buying a fourplex, which is 4 unit, and they're getting about 100, $1,000 or 1250 from each unit, that's like $5,000 income. So you can split the $4,000, right? Profit 4,000, loss like 1,000. It's not really a loss, but it's like maintenance fee. One thing I recommend all the time is, for an example, if you have let's say you are actually getting $5,000, but you don't have any maintenance, like everything is going well in the home, but still put like 10% of the rent into the account, savings account. If you are going to have like a business account, have like a checking account and a savings account where you'll put specific amount of money in savings. Maybe like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the roof has gone bad, or the home had some hail or any type of natural disaster for which you would have to put 10 $20,000 to fix it. Then you can actually put that $150 that you've been putting every single month, then you will have that money saved up. So you don't have to worry about getting that extra $10,000 you needed in future, right? So that is something you can do. The risk about getting a rental property is like there are always risk with everything, right? So for an example, you get a rental property, then let's say like you got four tenants in a fourplex, 4 unit apartment building. One of the tenants maybe loses their job. Then they're not going to pay the rent. And then maybe another tenant is going to probably is going through a COVID or some health challenge. Maybe he have a cancer or diabetes or he have a heart attack and he's not paying rent, so then you're not going to get rent from like one person or another person, and then you would have to replace the tenant. Sometimes the tenant doesn't pay the rent, you would have to hire an attorney to evict that person, and you would have to evict that person. When you evict that person, sometimes they get very angry. Hey, this guy actually put an eviction on my record, I'm not going to be able to rent another home. They will try to damage the property before they leave. So that is one of the risks. So one thing that I recommend is when you actually hire a property manager to actually hire somebody, maybe it's better that they actually look at the job, they look at the credit, they look at how they have been with the other landlords. So you take like numbers of previous landlords and call them and ask how this tenant was. I mean, were they a good tenant, or were there bad people? Did they pay rent on time? Make sure they look at the history, and that's why you probably want to hire the best property manager. So those are some of the risks. The other risk can be like, obviously, as I say, like natural disaster. Maybe there's a flood that flooded the property, or there's a fire damage, and your insurance is not gonna cover the flood damage. If you don't have a specific insurance for it, then you would actually have some trouble there. So there are always pros and cons with every single method. The second method I would recommend is fix and flip. So with fix and flip is you have to identify a discounted property that needs work. The property can be ugly or it needs work, or make sure the property doesn't have major problems. Like I have done um, a webinar which actually talks about inspection on my YouTube channel. So if you're able to see my screen, you can actually see my YouTube channel, which actually says buying and selling with Abdul Rahman. And there I have done like inspection, what you need to know about the property, things that you should do. So that is what I would recommend, is like you watch the inspection video before you actually buy a fix and flip, because you can actually find out all the major problems you actually need to know. And then you hire a contractor to estimate the repairs. Like for an example, someone is selling a home that is like $500,000, and the repairs might be $200,000. But you might be thinking, oh, the repairs are only $100,000. Then you buy that property, then all your numbers are going to get messed up. So you make sure you hire a right contractor who is going to give you the best, who's going to give you an estimate of the repairs. Like they will put an Excel spreadsheet, is going to have like every single thing, like carpet, paint, kitchen, bathroom, vanity. They will even put small little things, right? And actually, sometimes we think that, hey, like contractor is doing so much work, I don't even know I'm going to hire him or not. But that's how the contractors actually work, because most of the contractors, they actually place bids, they give offers, and then they get accepted in one or two offers. Like for an example, um, you actually hire a person, right? You actually go for an interview. You give like 10 interviews, then you might get hired at one or two places, right? Sometimes your experience level is very good, you give three interviews or two interviews, you get a job offer. That's how the contractors are. They actually go and place multiple bids, they give their offers, they give their estimate. If they do a good job, then you're going to hire him. So that's how they work. And then once you hire a contractor, you estimate the repairs, then you buy the home, you fix the home, and you sell it on the market for $50 to $200,000 profit. So this second method is fix and flip. You're buying a property, you're fixing it and flipping it, but you have to make sure the market is right. So for an example, you bought a property, the moment you bought a property, there comes a recession, then you're not going to be able to sell the property, then there's a problem, right? So, but with the rental property, you don't have to worry about that, because you're not trying to make like a profit in a very small period of time. You're going to make profit over the period of years. Maybe you're going to hold the rental property for like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But fix and flip, you're buying a property, you're actually making a quick flip, and you're going to buy this property from the fund that you're going to create, which I showed in the first slide. Like you're going to create this fund by putting together 50,000 each or 25,000 each, whatever, and then put together a fund and buy the property that will come in the budget of that fund. And you can actually put together a small meeting internally with your partners and make sure you guys are all on board with buying this property, and there are no conflicts and everybody are like-minded. And then you can do fix and flip that way. The third type of investment is you become an investor for a profit percentage. So you don't buy a rental property, you don't buy fix and flip. But what you do, you find out a trustworthy investor. Identify a trustworthy investor or a flipper or a rehabber. Let's say your friend is very creative. Okay, he buys homes for very very cheap, like let's say $250,000 or $300,000. He puts like $50,000 in repairs and he sells for like $150,000 profit. And then you like, oh man, I only have $50,000. Well, I can't invest in this business because I mean this friend is very nice, but I don't have that much money, right? So what you do, you go to the step one and you create a fund. You put your friends, you everybody put together, and then you have the investor identify a property. He will identify a property. He will say 123 Main Street, Seattle, Washington. This property has a great potential. What I'm going to do with this property is I'm gonna take this property. I will actually, he need to submit a detailed plan to you. Like he's gonna say, well, I'm gonna finish the basement. I'm gonna fix the bathroom. I'm gonna add another bedroom. I'm gonna combine these two bedrooms and make it a master bedroom and a master suite. I'm gonna change the roof. I'm gonna add additional square footage. He should show the entire plan in detail and tell us like what could be the potential profit. If the potential profit is anywhere between 50, 100, or $100,000 and over that, then you can invest all your money into that. So you don't have to do anything. Investor is buying a property with your money. He's going to do the repairs. He's going to sell it. All you do is sit on a bench and watch him do the work, right? And then you will actually take a percentage. Let's say $300,000 was the let's say $400,000 was let's say $300,000 were the purchase price, $100,000 were the repairs, and he sold the property for $500,000. So you probably got like $100,000 profit. Five people can actually split the $100,000 profit. So you basically made all that profit by doing nothing, right? And but you have to make sure that the investor is trustworthy, and make sure you have a deed of trust on the LLC for security, just in case something happens. The investor cannot run with your money because that property will be attached to your LLC just as a security, so that you will own the property if the investor is not able to fix it and do it. And I would also recommend that you actually hire an attorney for the paperwork. And the risk with this method is the investor you actually hired, you're gonna invest the money in, can actually be, you know, um, the investor that you got the money, he might not be very good, or he might be inexperienced, or he might not have all the potential to buy the property, fix it, and flip it. And maybe he's just starting, he's a new guy, then he's going to take your money and then he's not going to do the right job, so you might not make good profit. So you have to make sure you hire a good person, a friend of yours or somebody who you trust, or somebody who is part of the community, people know him. Maybe you're going to find somebody on Craigslist, and he's not going to do the right job. So that's what you have to make sure when you're going to invest the money for profit percentage. um, so what you can do is, if the fund account have $500,000, the profit is made like extra $100,000. All of you guys can distribute that profit between all the different partners and continue to have that fund for it. Um, the second is, let's say you might be saying, Abdul, come on, man, like I don't have that much money. Like I only have like $10,000, $15,000, and all my friends that I know also have only ten or $15,000. So what you can do is, all you and your friends can combine, buy a land, and buy a land. And usually what happens is that for most of the land, you don't have the permit. Like the most difficult part about a land is getting a permit, like permission to actually build a home on it, right? So if you buy a land which doesn't have permit, you actually go to the city, you put together the plan, you hire the architecture, you hire the architect. Once you hire the architect, you put together a plan, you do all that work. And once you do all that work, then you will be able to get the permit. The moment you get the permit, the land value will actually double up. I mean, if you buy a land for $30,000 and you pull a permit to build a home for it, the value of the land can go up to 70, 80,000 or $100,000 because now that land is worth to be built on it. So an investor, a builder, or an individual who want to buy a land to build a home will buy that land from you. The risk about the land is sometimes you buy a land that is a wetland and you might not get permit on it. So then you will be stuck with the land. You might not be able to make any profit, but at the same time, you have to actually pay taxes every single year. So you might end up losing money. But maybe if the land value goes up in 2 to 3 years, maybe you can sell it for profit. So that is something you can actually do when you're actually buying a land or doing all that work. Okay. Um, and also for each of the strategies, you have to have a backup plan just in case something doesn't go right. I'm going to do something else. Like for an example, you bought a land and just in case you don't have a you're not able to get a permit, you're not going to be able to sell it, you should have a backup plan. Okay, can I use this land as a farmer's land, or can I put like goats on this land and make it like a goat farm, or can I put like chickens here, or maybe make it a chicken farm or something like that. I mean, I'm just making stuff up, but you have to have some type of backup plan before you're going to do an investment. Okay. um, so another another is become a flipper. Okay, let's say you are 20 years old, you're just getting out of college and you don't have a lot of money, and you don't have 20, 30, 40, $50,000, but you're motivated to work. I mean, you got a lot of time, you have creativity, you have good communication skills, you have the hardworking skills and everything. So in that case, what you can actually do is you can become a flipper, like someone who would actually buy and sell homes, right? And then in order to do that, you work as an assistant to an investor who flips homes. The people who are flipping home, when I used to flip homes, sometimes I would even buy like 2 homes a month, and I would buy and fix it and flip it and sell it. And I would actually need an assistant who can go and check on my contractors, make sure, um, you know, um, I see that some people are joining late, but they don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be recording this presentation and I'll be uploading on YouTube and actually sending the link for it. But you can continue to listen. Feel free to ask questions as well at the end. So become a flipper, right? As I said, so you can become you can work as an assistant where you will manage the project. You will go to the construction site. You will look into the things that needed help, and you can do all that work for a construction investor. And when you do all that work, you start to learn the business and you start to make connections. The contractors, the handyman, the laborers who used to work for the constructor will also become your friends. Now you have the right people, you have the realtor, you have the construction people, you have the painter, you have the plumber, you have the electrician, you have everybody. Now you have your team, right? Once you have your team, you learn the business. Now you have to learn how to find the properties, like discounted properties. And once you do that, you can actually raise money and ask other people to invest in your projects. You can tell them, hey, I've been working with an investor for 1 year, 2 years. I have learned this entire business. I know how to make money in this business. All I need is money. So you get your friends who are working in tech, who are working in Microsoft, Amazon, or somebody who's working as a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. You can ask them, hey, you guys are probably having a lot of money and you guys are maybe investing in stocks or something like that, but I have a better idea, and present them your model. And then you buy this home using OPM, which is called like other people money. So you make other people invest in invest in the home, fix the home, sell it on the market, share the profit. If you do one project very well and you're able to get 10, 15, $20,000 profit to each of your partners, they're gonna tell you, hey, like, when are you gonna find another home, right? Like, when I got really good with flipping, like, people used to ask me, hey, Abdul, like, I mean, is there another home? I want to invest my money in there, right? But that's how you should become. You should become so good at what you do so that people started to trust you, and they will put their money in, and they're just basically making return by not doing any work. So that is something is amazing, right? And then one risk with this is like when you become a flipper, and you have to deal with for so many things sometimes. Yeah, contractors that you're going to hire, They might steal the materials, or they might not do the work, or you might be paying the contractor hourly like $30 an hour, and he might sleep at the job and not do the job right, or he might do the work very slowly. So you have to get the property, you have to fix it, you have to sell it in the market. The delays might cause you to lose your money, because let's say the project delays by 3 months, then for those 3 months you're paying taxes, insurance, utility bills and all that, and you're actually wasting time, right? Time is money. So those are some of the risk as well. And sometimes another risk is you might find a deal, but you might not find people to invest in your deal the right time. So like there is a deal, there is a hard deal, you have to buy that property, and if you don't, even if you delay like 3 days, 4 days, then you're gonna probably lose that deal. So for that reason, I would recommend is you make sure the investors are ready before you actually approach these homes. And when you're looking at a home and you're working on a deal, make sure you keep the investor informed so that they know, hey, like I'm looking at the deal right now, it could be a potential flip. Make sure, I mean, I'll keep you posted on how things goes. But if the deal gets if I'm able to put the deal together, then we would have to invest $400,000. So they will be informed. Like if you tell them like a day before, hey, like send me your money, then they're not going to be able to send their money to you, right? And also like they're not going to send you their money, but the deal closing happens through a title company where recording, deed, trust, and all that will be there on the papers. Some people also ask me, hey, Abdul, like, what do you do? Do you also sell homes? Yeah, I do sell homes. These are the recent couple of properties that I sold. As I represent buyers and sellers, buy and sell homes. If you have any questions, you can always ask me about that. But yeah, I hope I was able to add value and provide some information. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. But at this point, if you have any questions, let me know, inshallah. Well, looks like yeah. Does anyone have
Hello?
any question?
Yeah. I came in late. I don't know if you talked about financing a home in Islamic way.
Sure. That's actually a great question. So the thing is that I'm a real estate agent, and I represent people in buying and selling a home. And I don't have a lot of knowledge on financing side. And I try to stay away from the financing, Islamic financing, and questions on that. And what I do instead is I tell people to like go and talk to sheikhs or talk to the lenders. Like there are different lenders out there like Guidance, UIF, and all that, and ask them those questions. But I will tell you, like, one thing that I have done recently is a lot of people were asking me like, hey, I have a lot of questions on Islamic financing. And I was like, okay, great. So what I did was I recently did a presentation with Guidance Residential, and I bought one of their officers on board to tell what Guidance is and what they do and what they operate, so that people can ask questions. However, I'm not a partner with Guidance, and I don't like, you know, I'm not telling like go with Guidance, but it's just like something you can actually go and look at my YouTube channel, or if you actually message me on my WhatsApp, I can send you the link as well if you don't want to go there. So um, I hope that answers the question. It's like a 1 hour video. I took 20 minutes of it in the beginning, talking about what I do, and then Abdisa took about another 20 minutes talking about himself and what he does and all that. So,
Okay, thank you.
sure. No problem. Any other questions that I can help with? If nobody have any questions, I'll go ahead and end the call. And if you have any questions, I mean, it doesn't really have to be about specifically like some people say, Abdul, I'm not really buying anything right now, or but it doesn't really have to be about buying or selling. It doesn't really have to be about any of using any of my services or anything like that. You can ask any general questions, just like a friend, and I'll answer it. I mean, you don't really have to take any of my services for asking questions. I mean, I don't really care. The most I think the care about is like providing knowledge or any questions anybody have. That's what I care about most. So so feel free to reach out, general questions, anything like that. You want to know market updates, you just want to call me or hang out over the weekend and just have on a coffee or something like that. I'm open for it. So I like to talk to people, network, share my knowledge, and just hang out. So um, okay, so anything like that, let me know. And if you don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and end the call.
I have a general question.
Sure, sure.
So we have. I'm a first-time home buyer, and I have been in the market on and off.
Sure.
Have been listening, hearing about this market crash that is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Any idea how the business looks like for first-time home buyers?
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you know in which area are you trying to buy a property?
Redmond, Kirkland, Bellevue.
Sure. So something like that. I can send you I can send you market analysis. I have I print, I have downloaded exact numbers of market analysis there. So I can actually send you that. It's not a problem at all. But I'll give you an overall idea. So if you're looking to buy a home and you're not looking to like sell for a quick profit, then you don't have to worry about that too much. So for an example, you're buying a property and you have to like sell it in 3 months and make like $50,000. Then you have to look into the market analysis. Okay, if the market is going to go down, market is going to go up. But there was a big crash in 2008, and people sometimes think that something like that will happen again. But even if that happens, it will happen probably in like really areas which are low income neighborhoods, such like Tacoma or Kent or maybe like that. But Redmond, Kirkland, Bellevue, these areas are going to remain hot. Even though there actually crash comes, the property prices might go down by 2% and 3%. That's like what I'm expecting. But since COVID started, the property prices went up because people the lenders dropped the mortgage rate. So for that reason, the prices are actually going up right now. So even though there's a crash or something like that happens, then the prices might become stable, or even though they go down, they might not go significantly down. That's what my research and experience says. And I'm not an economist, so I might be wrong in that scenario as well. But I just wanted to tell you from my experience what I think.
Thank you.
Sure. No problem at all. And if you have any questions, or you can directly like message me or your number as well, we can talk a little bit more about that. And
One question from my side.
yeah.
Yeah, so see, Seattle market is pretty high, right? So buying home here is like 500 to somewhere around 900. But uh, I was about to move to Glendale, Arizona, a few months back, and
Yeah.
also Texas. So I saw like the houses there are pretty cheap, and the rent is almost nearly equivalent to the Bellevue or Redmond market. So, do you have any other recommendations, apart from Glendale, Arizona, places where we can invest and get nearly like 1,200 to 1,400 of rent every month, and that we can compensate with the rent here?
Sure. So are you so you're basically thinking to invest maybe in a different state and rent in
Yeah, yeah,
Seattle?
yeah.
Yeah.
Different state and a very good city, like a new city. For example, one more city I heard in the Texas. I'm not getting that name. It's pretty
um
new and
Austin.
a lot of,
uh,
not Austin.
n- uh,
Uh, a lot of new houses are coming there, and our
uh,
people market is very hot there. So, yeah. Eh, So basically, not just this one or two cities, but if you have list of some good cities, and if you could share that, that will help us.
sure. Definitely. So I heard like Texas is growing fast. And there's Plano and Dallas and Houston, Austin. These places are all good. But the thing is that the best way would be to hire a local realtor in that state or in that city, and have him send you all the market updates and which areas are growing, which areas are not. Because what happens is that like most of the time I'm actually I invest a lot of my time in this northwest real estate area, so I have like very good updates pretty much every single city and everything over here. um, but Dallas, Texas, is actually growing pretty fast right now, and a lot of people are moving there because the cost of living is low, but now it's is going to increase a little bit too. And I would recommend buy a duplex is better than single family home or or apartment or condo, because if you buy a duplex, you can rent 2 units, and maybe if you're actually going to Texas or going to move there, you can stay in one unit and rent the other one. And then what you can do is you can basically um, do is pay the rent, pay the mortgage, whatever, from one unit. Or if you're going to buy a cash, you can pocket the rent from the other unit and pay for the utilities or expenses or anything like that. So that really helps if you are actually buy a duplex or a townhome with 2 units in it, or a triplex or fourplex, something like that will actually very cheaper there. I mean, you can buy a 4 unit apartment building for like $400,000 in Texas.
Right, right. I agree with that. And the other thing I would like to ask, maybe you can do a separate session for this, is like the thing is that like most of us are on non-immigrant visas, and the only thing which blocks us from buying home is the uncertainty of whether we are going to stay here or we are going to go back. But most of us also have kids who are citizens, and they have like ambition of buying a home, not for, at least not for, if not for themselves, for their kids. So how are we going to manage that if we are out of country? Because I see, even if we are out of country, I see the rent which we get here is like 12 or $1,400, which is way higher than investing in your own country. So uh, is it easy to manage, or is it very difficult, or you will not be able to do that? I need some knowledge on that as well.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So, what you can do is you can actually invest over here and still stay in a different country, because U.S. allows foreign investors all the time. And then the only tricky part is like if maybe if the home is in the community where people who lives, and you have like community WhatsApp group where you can post message there to for somebody to rent it, right? So that will actually be very nice. But if you have a home where you don't have like friends, family, or community members there, then you give that home contract to property manager. Property manager will charge 10%, and then they will 10% of the rent, and they will find the tenant. They will do everything for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. So that is something that you can do. But if you're actually, yeah, I mean, that's what I recommend, because it's very difficult to actually manage the home, because sometimes the tenant have problems where they have rundown water, something water leak might happen, or home is flooding or something like that. In those cases,
Right.
you're probably in India, you're sleeping around that time, and they call you, you can't pick up the call, and then that would be a problem. So having a property manager who is very good at managing, you can actually hire them to actually do all that work for you.
Yeah. And again, the back thought will be like, if you're not in the country, and getting a good property manager is also a challenge. So he will take
Yeah,
advantage.
that is good, but you have to make sure that. So what you can do is you can attend a real estate investing association, is REIA. So you can actually go to Seattle RIA, Real Estate Investing Association, and there you go. Or there will be like best property managers who come and advertise, and they tell about services. And you have to shop around, talk to different people, get reviews from them on Google, internet, and different places, and ask them how they are. If they are good, then you actually keep them, but if they don't do a good job, then you fire them and hire a different one.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. And also you can sell the properties while you're out of state as well.
Okay.
You're allowed to do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I was going to ask, if of people who are willing to like set up such a LLC.
Yes. Yeah. So you wanted to know how you set up an LLC?
Yeah, I was asking if you know of people who are like interested in setting one up.
Right now, I might know people, but I really don't know like what type of investment strategy they'll be interested in, all that. But um, yeah, maybe I can talk to them, or maybe you can, like, when you go to the mosque or you go anywhere, you can talk to people and see if they're willing to work with you together. The best would be to actually find the people in your own circle, like family, friends, cousins, somebody who just, who you hang out with, to put together a small fund. That's how you actually find like-minded people, and you can trust, and because I might know somebody who might not be like-minded, or maybe he wanted to do something else. Um, so I don't do a lot of investment right now, because I used to do a lot of investment before. Now I'm kind of like busy with most of the time, just doing knowledge sharing sessions, representing a buyer, representing a seller, and buying, helping properties, things of that sort.
Maybe we can have a small gathering like next weekend or something. If a lot of people show their interest, they can reach out to you.
Sure, yeah, that'll be great. Like, if anybody wanted to reach out to me and they wanted to set up an LLC or something like that, I can actually connect all of you guys together. You can DM me,
Yeah.
and then I can just connect all you guys, and you guys can probably just, we can just do a meeting, and you guys can probably just, decide how you guys want to do what you guys want to do, and you can go from there.
Great.
Any other questions?
I think that's all for today.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
So and Brother Mohammed, you said you want some market analysis, right? And I'll also send you the presentation as well, the one I did with Bisa Tufa and whatever, for the first time home buyer. So you can probably use that, and you can actually, I sent you a message inbox. You can click on the chat on the Zoom, and you can put your number in there, so that I'll just text you the reports and everything.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna send you my number.
Okay, yeah, if you can just send your number on the Zoom chat that I texted you, then I'll get that, and I can send you the reports.
You are Omar Abdul Alim, or
No, my name is Abdul Rahman.
okay? I don't see Abdul Rahman Muhammad, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I got it. Starting with 510, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
I'll be in touch, Brother Abdul. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. I have another brother who needs the reports as well, so I'll send that reports to them as well. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Jazakallah.
Bye.
Okay, I think it was a great session. Anything, any questions you have? Like, you might come up with questions later on, and you can inbox me as well anytime. Okay, brother.
Sure.
Inshallah.
Sure.
Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair.